Well, we're sitting here putting a bow on 2025 in the next couple of weeks. And if you talk to leaders in Kansas City, including Mayor Lucas, they will, I think rightfully so, try to bring up the fact that when it comes to homicides in Kansas City, we are trending down over the last couple of years. In 2023, at this point in the year, we had 172 homicides, ending up with 182. Last year, at this point, we had 142, ending with 145. This year, we are at 131. So the trend is positive. But what is actually going on still with these numbers when you compare it to what you're seeing around the rest of the country? Patrick Tuohey's here with the Show Me Institute on KCMO. Good morning, my friend. What are you seeing?
Good morning. Well, you're absolutely right. It is good news. It's nice when those crime numbers are coming down. The problem is we don't know why. I reached out to the Kansas City Police Department when they first released the stats that a lot of property crime and homicide rates were going down, and that's good. And I asked what they were doing differently from previous years. And what I got back was kind of a statement that says, well, we continue to do this and we continue to do that. And those may be good things, but that tells me that we don't really know why the numbers are changing. And the reason why that's important is because policymakers and budgeters are going to be given the choice every year on what they focus on, what they fund. And if we don't know what is actually causing numbers to go down, we don't know what to do. And listeners will remember back in 2014, our homicide rate went down dramatically. And we had Mayor James and the police chief at the time, Tuohey, hold a press conference and congratulate themselves on the numbers going down. And then the next year, when the numbers went up again, those guys wouldn't say a word. And so, again, it's good news, but until we know why, and which tells us what we need to do more of, it's a mystery. These numbers could just as easily go back up next year.
You know, that's a good point. And it's something that no one seems to really have an answer for. Now, is it possible, too, that we were just in such a bad time in 2020 and 21 and 22 and 23 with, the riots, the protesting, the anti-cop sentiment, that we're just kind of leveling back to, I hate to say, but normal levels? Is it really as simple as that?
It may be. If you look at economic data coming out of the Great Recession, you will see that Kansas City seems to lag about 2 years behind the rest of the country. We went into it late and we came out of it late. And when you look at national crime numbers, the same thing may be happening. Our numbers went up late and they're coming down late. And so it may just be kind of the ebb and flow of crime, as you suggest. But here's why that's not comforting necessarily, because a few years ago, our mayor made an effort to, with the city council, cut police funding. And that didn't work out. And then more recently, he's increased police funding to increase salaries and hire more officers. And what that tells me is the mayor doesn't have a strong view of what it takes to solve crime. It appears he just puts his finger in the wind and decides which way the wind is blowing. And that's not sound policy. So we've got positive numbers. We don't know why. And that tells me we don't know what to do next. And one last point is this Washington Post story kind of looked at the 52 largest police departments in the country and looked at their homicide rate. And based on the data they compiled, Kansas City may be number one for 2025, which means we're going to be back in the spotlight nationwide as one of the top homicide cities, notwithstanding our positive numbers. And are we going to be able to explain why we're at the top and what we're going to do to reduce that number? And I'm not confident we know.
Patrick Tuohey is here with the Show Me Institute on KCMO Talk Radio 95.7 FM. You can stream us, as always, on your Alexa, on your Google Home, or at KCMOTalkRadio.com. So what do you want to see going into 2026? A lot of hype, World Cup's coming, rah, the whole deal, right? Hotels are filling up already, and everyone's celebrating streetcar, this, that, the next thing. What do you want to see the focus be in next year?
My goodness. We're going to need a lot more police officers in Kansas City during the games. That means we're going to have a lot of police departments from the surrounding areas in our city. That is welcome. I do not know that we've got the communication technology to make sure everybody is talking to each other. We did not have that during the Chiefs parade. I don't know that the police officers that are going to come in from, let's say, smaller municipalities, maybe more rural municipalities, are going to be trained up on how you deal with a urban environment. I don't know that police officers are going to be trained up on how to deal with a lot of people who don't speak English and maybe aren't acculturated to the United States. I don't like that the governor signed a bill allowing alcohol sales for 23 hours a day during the games. And I don't know that I trust the numbers about how many people are actually coming in to Kansas City for the game. So I am hoping for the best, but we have gotten so lazy or so accustomed to kind of lying to ourselves about important statistics that I don't know that we know how to make good decisions, or at least on what to base those good decisions. So I think we're all hoping for the best, but we could come out of this looking really bad if we don't have the police presence, the public safety, and kind of the structures to mitigate a bunch of people coming in, drinking an awful lot, and walking up and down our streets.
Yeah, but it's the Netherlands. Come on, Mark's already fired up about the Netherlands coming to Kansas City. He said that they're great people, and they're going to have a great time, and they're going to spend a lot of money, and everything's going to go well. So how about some optimism out of you, Patrick Tuohey? That wouldn't hurt you once in a while.
I know I sound very pessimistic, and I don't mean to be. It really is exciting, but somebody's got to think about what could go wrong, and I think we need more of that than we're getting from our city. And one last thing, yes, the people from all these European countries may be very nice and pleasant when they are home in their own neighborhoods, but when they travel internationally for soccer games, they tend to misbehave a little bit more than when they're in their own neighborhood. And we know that because the BBC and the London newspapers have done stories about how these fans go into European countries and get violent and have marches, and there are fights. And we're not good at policing our own people. It's going to be an even greater challenge to police visitors from overseas.
All right. Patrick Tuohey is here on KCMO Talk Radio. Last thing, since it's been a few weeks since we've talked, your Royals-Chiefs prediction today is what, Patrick Tuohey?
Oh, my gosh. I've been reading about what's been going on in Overland Park. I am more and more inclined to think that the Royals stay where they are. They re-sign at the Truman Sports Complex for a few years and then maybe try to start all over to figure out what it is they want. I'm not sure they know what they want right now.
They stay at Truman. I mean, that is, I know I've heard you say it before, Patrick. I just think it's a non-starter. What is there to suggest that that's going to happen?
Well, they're running out of time. They're running out of time to build a park. And I don't see any obvious options. It's not just Overland Park, but are they going to survive a vote of the people in Clay County? I think they've screwed this thing up. I think they know they've screwed this thing up. And I think the most prudent thing for them to do is, again, re-sign for 5 years, collect themselves, and start over and do a much better job of it. But the clock is not on their side.
All right, my man. We will talk to you soon. Patrick Tuohey with the Show Me Institute. Have a great day, my friend.
Thanks so much. Take care.
All right. Excellent as always from Patrick Tuohey on KCMO Talk Radio. Now the text line's going nuts because Patrick is giving people false hope that they're going to stay at the Truman Sports Complex. I love Patrick, but there's just no way. There's no way. Not a chance.